Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. And woo, Xbox has been really busy over the last week and a half. It's almost as if they heard somebody say that they've been just a little quiet this year. And they took that personally because it has been non-stop announcement after announcement in the last week and a half. And interestingly enough, it sounds like something else is brewing over at Xbox that should really excite fans. Yeah, could virtual reality be right around the corner for Xbox? Well, we will talk about that later on today, plus more Xbox Game Pass games was announced, and we got some big ones here. If you like day one releases, Outriders is not the only day one release coming in the next couple weeks. Also, PlayStation was in the news for backing a new studio that has a lot of potential of doing some extraordinary things, so make sure to stick around for that as well. As usual though, I do cover the entire game industry and we have a lot to go over today, so let's get right into it, starting off with the previous Google Stadia exclusive, Super Bomberman R Online. And yes, Bomberman R Online will no longer be a Google Stadia exclusive and is officially coming to Steam, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation later this year. There is no exact release date or price just yet, but we do know it will offer cross-platform play, which is an extremely welcome addition for a game like this. The main attraction for this game is its 64 Battle Royale mode, and since it will be cross-play, hopefully that keeps the online community healthy with a larger fan base. The price point will be interesting to follow as well, because this was a free-to-play game on Google Stadia and released last December. There was a premium version though that gives you access to several Konami-related costumes, including Snake from Metal Gear Solid, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, and even Pyramid Head from Silent Hills, among several others. So I think they may do something similar to that with this port to other platforms. Now, I have seen some confusion on this release though. Back in 2017, Super Bomberman R released for multiple platforms, but Bomberman R Online is actually a different release with a 64 Battle Royale mode. This is a new release that, yes, was exclusive to Stadia up until this point. Now, more people can enjoy this game on whatever platform they choose to play it on, and I view that as great news. Next up, we all know that Nintendo has had a lot of success with the Switch, especially in the last year, or pretty much ever since Animal Crossing New Horizons released. That particular game took an already successful platform in the Switch and then just launched it into orbit. I mean, Animal Crossing has now sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, and I don't know if anybody really expected that to happen. I mean, it was expected to be successful and everything, but it's been crazy to see just how well it's done, but really cool at the same time. I think this was the perfect game for a lot of people who needed a paradise to escape to in a difficult time in history. It's one of those games that shows it can be a great stress reliever. And check this out. With a recent update, it actually reveals that Animal Crossing New Horizons is now the fastest selling Nintendo game ever in Europe, selling more than 7 million copies since it released last year in March. Just to put that in perspective and how impressive that is, Nintendo has sold more than 20 million Switches in Europe, which means that roughly 1/3 of all Switch owners in Europe owns Animal Crossing New Horizons. That is absolutely incredible, and just kind of shows you how successful this game truly has been worldwide. We are witnessing one of the best-selling games of all time, and that's the thing, it's not going to stop anytime soon. If we believe the Switch is only halfway into its life cycle, the Switch is going to continue selling at a rapid pace, and with every new customer is potentially another buyer for Animal Crossing. Neither the Switch or Animal Crossing is even close to stopping. Nintendo games have always been well known for their longevity, and I'm kind of curious to see where this game ends when all said and done. Let me know in the comments below and how many units you think New Horizons will sell. Could it reach 40 million units or even more than that? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, while we're on the topic of Nintendo, we have a few new controllers to talk about. One from 8-Bit Do, which is well known for their high-quality arcade sticks and their well-made gamepads. I've always liked their retro designs on gamepads specifically, but their newest controller is one that I'm suddenly very interested in. This is the Pro 2 controller that releases this April for $50. This new controller will support the Switch, PC, and mobile devices, and there's a lot going on with the Pro 2 that makes it such an intriguing option. First off, yes, 8-Bit Do does a great job with their gamepads, and their build quality are typically top-notch. Then just looking at the features, this seems like a complete gamepad. This is a highly customizable controller where you can map buttons and even enable macros with their ultimate software that is available on PC and mobile devices. It has rumble, it has motion controls, wireless Bluetooth, USB-C, and 20 hours of battery life. It all sounds great on paper, but what really stands out to me personally is the back of the controller. Not only does it have a texturized grip that you so often see with Xbox controllers for added comfort, but it also has back buttons. Now, I've said this before, but I really don't know why first-party controllers have not been implementing this feature into their own controllers. Back buttons are very versatile and can really help out in competitive games. A lot of times people will map their jump button to these back buttons in shooters, that way they don't have to take their fingers off of the analog sticks. It is a small competitive advantage, but yeah, I love this addition personally, and the 8BitDo Pro 2 is looking pretty good. As for the other controller, Fortnite revealed official Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch. I'm not really a big fan of Fortnite myself, but if you do like these, you can pick them up on June 4th. They also come included with some digital items as well. Moving on, PlayStation made a surprise announcement today that could potentially be a big thing for the PlayStation 5. PlayStation managed to strike up a partnership with Jade Raymond and her new independent studio Haven Entertainment. Now, if you don't know who Jade Raymond is, she was the original producer for Assassin's Creed. She worked on Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and Bloodlines, and that's impressive all on its own. But her resume goes well beyond that. She's also linked to The Sims Online, Watch Dogs, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Far Cry 4, and the list goes on and on. She has worked on a lot of very well-known and successful games. In recent years, though, she has run into some bad luck as she was the head of Google Stadia's new internal studio. Now, as we all know, Google decided to end their first-party production prematurely as apparently the Microsoft Bethesda acquisition discouraged Google from pushing forward with their own games. Yeah, Google wasn't exactly committed and unfortunately got rid of some very talented people, including Jade Raymond. It was a sad situation for studios that had a lot of potential. Well, Jade Raymond luckily bounced back on her feet pretty quick. She opened up a new studio, Haven Entertainment, and PlayStation is backing whatever game they're working on. And yes, they did reveal they're already working on something. We just need to kind of wait and see what it is. Now, even though PlayStation is backing this game, they do not own Haven Entertainment. I know some people read it that way initially today, but they did announce they are an independent studio. This is actually kind of similar to what PlayStation did with Kojima Studios and Death Stranding. PlayStation owned all rights for Death Stranding, but the studio remained independent. In other words, they're partnering up with a well-known and successful developer to make a game exclusively for PlayStation and maybe possibly PC. They're basically putting their faith in them making yet another good game, and with Jade Raymond's background, I think fans should be very confident that she can do it yet again, especially with a big publisher like PlayStation funding it. I'm sure PlayStation will give them all the resources they need to make a great game, and it's a win-win for both really. With Kojima Studios, they let them use the Decima engine, which was made by Guerrilla Games for Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games also helped with development for Death Stranding, so we could see something similar here with Haven. Regardless, I'm really happy to hear Jade Raymond bounce back on her feet so quick, and I wish her all the best luck. Let's talk about Xbox though, as they've been pretty busy here recently. We've talked about Xbox Game Pass quite a bit in the last few episodes, as they revealed a bunch of Bethesda games for Game Pass, and yesterday, they revealed Outriders is coming to Game Pass Day 1 on April 1st. That still is unbelievable, but it gets even better. Yeah, they announced even more Xbox Game Pass games today for the second half of March, so let's take a look at what they have in store. You have Outriders, Undertale, Yakuza 6, Narita Boy, Empire of Sin, Squadrons, Octopath Traveler, Genesis Noir, Nier Automata, Torchlight 3, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, and Superland. This is an absolutely amazing lineup of games, not just for console, but also PC, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. I'd say this is one of the best months though, considering those Bethesda games that already released, and you have several big Day 1 releases coming in the next few weeks. Technically, Outriders is April 1st, but also Undertale is a Day 1 release that's out today, actually. You also have Yakuza 6, and really, anybody who hasn't played this franchise, please go do so. Yakuza is among the best single-player experiences in the entire game industry, not just for Xbox Game Pass, but all games, period. I do recommend starting with Yakuza 0, but you'll quickly want to play them all. Octopath Traveler, though, was the big surprise today. This was previously a Nintendo Switch console exclusive, and surprisingly, it's heading to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass on March 25th. This is actually a really good sign from Square Enix. They're now putting 2 big games into Xbox Game Pass day one in a short period of time. Now, Square Enix has a tendency of skipping out on Xbox with some of their bigger releases, but it seems like their relationship is improving thanks to Game Pass. They have released several Final Fantasy games into Xbox Game Pass, and they also brought over Nier Automata last year to consoles, and actually now to PC as well. So this is actually 3 big Square Enix games for Game Pass this month, and that tells me that Square Enix is having some success with Xbox Game Pass. They wouldn't be doing this if they didn't already have some success, and now they're taking that next step with day one releases. So it'll be interesting if we start to see Square Enix and Xbox partner up more in the future. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake has to come to Xbox eventually. After making Xbox fans wait for more than a year, possibly 2, it would be nice if you just kind of throw that right into Xbox Game Pass. I'm not saying that'll happen or anything, but that would be pretty cool. Now, the PC side of things for Game Pass is looking pretty good as well. As I mentioned, it has Nier Automata, which is a must-play game. Seriously, an amazing overall game, but also Pillars of Eternity 2, Yakuza 6, Octopath Traveler, Undertale, and Superland. Do not sleep on Superland. That's a good hidden gem that I would personally recommend. But yeah, this is one of the best months for Xbox Game Pass in my opinion, thanks to all of these high-quality day one releases and those Bethesda games that they revealed last week. August of last year was really good as well, with several first-party games like Flight Sim, Battletoads, and Wasteland 3, and then you had the EA Play Month, but this ranks right up there with those in my opinion. There's just a lot of really high-quality games here, but regardless if you think it's the best or not, this is still an absolutely amazing month for Xbox Game Pass. And that wasn't all for Xbox because it sounds like something is brewing over at Xbox. So according to IGN Italy, when they plugged in their new Xbox wireless headset to their console, it asked them to update their VR headset. That seems kind of strange for a device that doesn't support VR, or is that about to change? Is Xbox looking to add virtual reality support to the Xbox Series? Now, in the past, Phil Spencer almost seemed against the idea of this happening, but maybe things have changed since then. If you ask me, I never really agreed with Phil Spencer on that statement. I am a supporter of virtual reality, and I see no reason to not bring it over to Xbox. I'm not saying their first-party studios need to support it or anything like that, because they don't really have to, but you could at least support VR and let third parties bring their own games and headsets to Xbox. Maybe partner up with Valve or Oculus to get their games on Xbox. I think by this point, there are several really good VR titles that are out there, such as Half-Life Alyx and Asgard's Wrath. For that matter, several Xbox first-party studios have worked on VR games in the past. Bethesda does a good job with VR, releasing games like Skyrim and Doom into virtual reality. Ninja Theory also released Hellblade into VR, Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin is a VR game from Double Fine, and then you have Flight Simulator. So they already have some really good first-party games available for virtual reality. Again, you don't have to develop games with the mindset that they are only VR titles, but you could still support it. It would expand VR even further, and it would give fans more games to look forward to on some cool technology. And actually, I posted a poll over a month ago about this specific topic and asked you, the community, if you think Xbox should support VR, and 70% of you said that they should. So I think fans want this to happen. I think there are some really good games that could come over because of something like this, and you already have some first-party games that support VR. I think this absolutely needs to happen, and according to IGN Italy, this could be happening soon. Xbox does have some kind of gaming segment rumored to be March 26, so maybe they have something about it there. We'll have to wait and see, but I hope something does come out of this eventually. And last but not least, let's take a look at the poll of the day. I asked you all which upcoming Pokemon game for the Switch would sell more, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl or Pokemon Legends Arceus. I thought it'd be interesting to see what you all think about this topic because we don't usually see spin-offs for Pokemon with this type of ambition. Of course, there was Pokemon Let's Go, which sold really well, but not quite as well as the mainline series. But you all do seem to believe that Legends Arceus will outsell Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and I do think that could be possible. Remakes don't typically sell as well as the new mainline entries, and I think Legends Arceus could attract a whole new part of the community. It just looks so much more ambitious that it could bring in a lot of new people along with the already established Pokemon fanbase. Now, I don't think it'll outsell Sword or Shield per se, but if they fix up its frame rate and make Legends Arceus into a good Pokemon game, it could do some major numbers. Another interesting thing about this, though, is that Game Freak is developing Legends Arceus, while a different developer is working on Brilliant Diamond, Ilka. So it does seem like Legends Arceus is being treated as a big release, and it'll be interesting to see how it's received when it eventually does come out. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.